I mean, really good defense. You look at every level. I think up front, obviously, they generated a good pass rush. They got a couple good guys on the edge, and the interiors played really well as well. And then at linebacker, they fly around the field. Obviously, they also move Derwin around, safety, nickel, linebacker, move him around everywhere. He's a valuable piece for them where they can kind of put him in different spots to give different presentations. So he's done a nice job, and their back end has played well. And they do a good job of matching different concepts and pressuring at times, and they do a lot of different things. And they're well coached. I think they changed the look for the quarterback. So be a big week, obviously, of preparation to get ready for this defense. They're a good defense.
What do you remember about the 2022 wild card game? It was such a crazy game with 27 points.
Yeah, it's a crazy game. I think just obviously good memories of that. For us and our team, obviously a lot of guys aren't here anymore, and the teams have changed a lot. So not really much in our minds about that game going into this one. Just totally different year, different set of circumstances, but obviously great memories from that game.
William said he talked to you about just letting it rip. Was that, you feel like you haven't been doing that, or you need to do it more, or how did you take that when he talked to you about that?
Yeah, we've had some great conversations just throughout the season, just checking in week to week, whether, it's coming off a win, loss, whatever, every week we really kind of checked in and just talked, and I think that was something that we talked a lot about this week and over the last couple of days of just going out there and cutting it loose and feeling a little bit more freedom to let some things go, to take some shots. And I think that's the balance of playing quarterback, right? Is the balance of aggressiveness, when to take the shot, when to take completions, when to protect the ball. And I think that's something where, just specifically looking at this last game, I think there was probably a few opportunities where I could have maybe thrown a couple balls a little earlier, give our guys some chances down the field, and you might not hit all of them, but try to avoid some of those sacks. And then you look at just overall being a little bit more aggressive when we have some opportunities down the field. I think that's something that this year maybe haven't taken as many shots. So that's something I know I can do well. I know our offense can do it well, that we have done in the past. So I know that we can make some improvements. I think that's the biggest thing, is just going out there, cutting it loose, trusting myself. I know that Liam's got my back, the whole team, the whole offense has my back, and just going out there and playing free.
Is that similar to what you told yourself a little bit back in 22 after that first half of the year? I feel like I remember you kind of just just play more free. I mean, is that similar to this, or is that different?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of different circumstances where we were at as a team. I felt like trying to think back on like that time in 22. I mean, it was a little bit different, but I would say for a quarterback, it's a similar thought process of, I feel like at times this year offensively, we've just struggled to get in a rhythm and stay in a rhythm, even when we have gotten in a rhythm at times, have kind of fallen out of that. So for me, it's just continuing to trust what I see, play fast, and just cut it loose. I think that's the biggest thing is, know I can make every throw out there. I know what I'm seeing, so just trust it and go play and help us get in a rhythm faster and hit some of these throws down the field and, open up our offense some more.
This playing in your third offense, third head coach, third offensive coordinator, does that factor into that at all? A little bit, like your hesitancy to cut it loose at times? Just, all the stuff that's running through your head is what I'm saying.
Not necessarily. At this point, I feel pretty settled into the system. I've had a lot of time on task up until this point. I think, early on in the season and even in the off season in the spring, trying to get everything down and learn a new system. And obviously, you're not going to play quite as fast as you want to when you're doing something for the first time. So that's gotten better. I just think at times, early on in the year, we had a lot of turnovers, and I think that's something where I feel like I got a little bit more, focused on taking some completions throughout the last few weeks. And then you look at where we're at now, and just if you look at the whole season, I think that's what we've been lacking is some of the explosives down the field. And you still got to play quarterback at the end of the day, read it out, take what's there, and be smart. But I think we will have some opportunities, and I know that we can make those plays. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Jacoby Myers was able to give you guys some contributions on Sunday. What was that week like with him, and how important was that first step to building a big-time relationship with Jacoby Myers?
It was great. I was impressed just how he handled himself the whole week, preparing himself to go play, and was asked to do more than I think a lot of guys would have been able to handle on such short notice. I think he got here basically Wednesday and was ready to play on Sunday. Our system isn't the easiest to learn, and he did a great job and was able to play a lot of snaps for us. So he did an awesome job. Excited just to build on that this week. I think he brings some great things to the table as far as obviously, his hands, his route running ability. He's really physical. He can block, can run the whole route tree. Is good with the ball in his hands after him. And he's a really good player, and I'm excited just to continue to grow with him.
How big would it be to get Brenton back this week?
Be huge. He's a big part of our offense, and obviously we haven't had him, the last month or so. So I'm just, excited to get him back, whether that's this week or whenever. Obviously want to do what's best for him and make sure he's ready to go when he does come back. But yeah, I'm hoping that's sooner rather than later, because I think it's no secret how important he is to our offense and what he can do, run game, pass game, just how versatile he is.
It seems like you and Brenton have built a lot of trust between each other before he got hurt. Just what is it about him and his skill set that makes him such a trustworthy, target for you?
Yeah, I think the way he, like I've said it in the past. He really learned a lot from Evan. Being behind him for a couple of years, and really just, I think Evan set a great example. And Evan was always with the quarterbacks. He spent a lot of time with me, and so Brenton a lot of times was with us as well. And I think he picked up on how important it is, the communication with myself and the other quarterbacks just during practice, whether it's certain routes, technique, whatever. I think he's done a great job of communicating, so we're always talking. So then now, when he, at the beginning of the year, obviously he's been out for the last few weeks, but when he was playing and he's the guy and he's getting all these targets, it's these reps that we've talked about in the past. It might not have been him doing it, but you can get up to speed a lot faster because you've talked about it and you have a bunch of banked reps from practice. So, and he's been asked to step up before this year, and he's played really well. So I've always had trust in him. Not going to find a guy that works harder. So he's doing all the right things.
Trevor, how much do you think this is a test for this locker room on the bounce back, the resiliency, the handle of adversity after what transpired Sunday?
Yeah, it's definitely a test. I mean, it's every week is a test of your team and your locker room and your culture. I mean, in this league, it's win or lose. It's a challenge. It's hard to win. It's as you can see, it's a week to week league, and you got to bring your best. And you got to finish these games. I think it's a learning lesson for our team. I mean, we've played fairly well in 1-score games this year. If you look at, especially compared to last year, that was something that we struggled with and made that improvement. Obviously, we didn't get it done last week. We didn't finish the game well, and we own that, and we have to move on and go try to beat a really good Chargers team this week. So that's the thing about the NFL is it doesn't let up. So you can't stay in the rear view mirror thinking about the last one, because this one is just as important. So I think it's a great learning experience. You got to take it for what it is, but you got to move on. You got to take the accountability and look at. There's a lot of plays that I want back that I think I could have done more to help our team, and get a couple first downs at the end of the game, whatever it is. But we're on to the next week, and you got to be able to bounce back. And I think it is a good test for our team. And I like the day of practice we had today. We were flying around, had some good energy, and you got to keep preparing that way.
That's
Good. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate it.